Hi again everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. If you are a holder of Lucid Motors stock, ticker symbol LCID, you probably are doing quite well after experiencing a much welcome 9% jump in the stock price yesterday. Yesterday's jump saw the stock close at its highest price point in a month at $45.47 per share. The catalyst behind this jump, well, there was no direct company news behind this price rise. However, a couple of macro developments have perhaps indirectly played a role. That being the Fed's softer tone around interest rates, which generally buoyed the market, especially the recently beaten down tech sector, which had a particularly strong day. There was also news that oil supplies were again reaching globally short levels, meaning higher oil prices, which is another factor that further boosted Lucid Motors and its EV peers. So in the face of these developments, and because of what I spoke about in my last video on this stock, I hedged my bets and decided to sell my position in Lucid at $45 per share. In this video, I plan on explaining why I thought it was a good time to exit, at least temporarily, and talk a little bit about the outlook for Lucid Motors. This video is very much a follow-up from the one I did the other day. Anyway, so let's get into it. So if you saw my last video on Lucid Motors, I spoke about the potential dip the stock is going to see in about a week from now. That is on January 18th, following the expiring of the next early investor lockup period. So if you haven't seen my last video, basically what happened in the lead up to the last lockup period was the stock experienced a 20% decline in the 2 weeks leading up to the event, and on the day of the event saw a huge dip and fell as low as 40% on that day. Given that we are now starting to draw closer to that January 18 lockup date, I have decided to exit and take profit during yesterday's rise. I am now going to watch and see if there is a similar dump of Lucid stock as there was back in September. If you are interested, I'll link the original Lucid video in the description if you want to see what I'm talking about in terms of the price dip experienced in September. Anyway, but for the January time, I think in an extreme case, the stock could potentially fall to below the $30 mark if history is to repeat itself. But if I'm to be fully honest with myself, I don't think the lockup dump will be as extreme as it was in September. Firstly, because there is now not as much early investor stock, and secondly, the potential and legitimacy of the still newly listed company has been further crystallized in the eyes of the market. So I do expect to see a bit of a sell-off just before the lead up and on the day, but I do not think we are going to see the extreme drop that we saw in September. So in terms of understanding the value of Lucid Motors stock, there was a decent article on the company's outlook from the Motley Fool today. I will link the article in the video description. However, one thing the article does highlight was that one analyst who has started covering the stock has valued the company at $39 per share. The article did generally critique the analyst, however, and raise a longer term point that is worth discussing. That is, as much as Lucid looks to differentiate itself from Tesla by pushing itself as an upmarket vehicle, many in the market for an EV car today are going to view Lucid as a competitor of Tesla's and merely just another option for when buying a vehicle. The article also discusses several other tests Lucid will face with their expansion into China, where there are already a number of more mature EV car companies, and the bigger problem that the general EV sector is going to face when many of the larger legacy automakers enter the EV space, most of which I believe are aiming to be rolling out their first EV vehicles around 2025. So this is companies like General Motors, Ford, BMW, Volkswagen, all these big car companies. The article closes with a bit of a FUD conclusion, but it is worth thinking about. How will a newcomer in the EV space fare once EV cars become the norm and not the exception? While Tesla has already established themselves as the leader in this space, Lucid really needs to build their name in the next couple of years. It looks like they may have the product to do so with their initial car, but whether they gain traction or not as the go-to top market EV car or not in the long term remains to be seen. Anyway, my plan is to wait until January 18 and see if there is a dramatic dip like was experienced in September. If I can pick up the stock at a decent point, less than what I sold it for, being $45, and increase the number of stocks held, that will be a good outcome for me. If the stock doesn't come down by that much, I may sit out and just watch how the stock performs and watch for another opportunity. Despite yesterday, the markets are still generally quite soft at the moment, so another opportunity to pick up a discount on the stock may present itself in the near future. It is really hard to say how this is all going to pan out, but that is my plan for now. I like the company, but I want to be smart with my money after taking a bit of a hit in the EV space in the past. Anyway, what do you guys think? Is the $39 a fair valuation for Lucid stock? How do you see the company performing longer term, especially once more of these legacy automakers get into the EV space? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, if there is a stock you would like me to look into, drop a ticker symbol in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Until next time everyone, may the markets trade in your favour. Cheers.